turning it. Have you ever heard a piece of music that just stuck in your head and you couldn't explain why it was there, but it just wouldn't leave? Well, for me it was a single note, one note that changed my life. A very famous American composer named Aaron Copland once said that to stop the flow of music would be like stopping the flow of time itself. Incredible and inconceivable. This quote probably means a lot more to me than it would to a lot of you, because my soul is full to the brim with music, just begging to be let out. Well, this is the story of the first time that I let it out. This is the first time I composed a piece of music. A few years ago, I was in a chamber music group back in California. Every time we met in these practice chambers with pianos in them. I've always loved playing piano, and I never really knew why. But looking back on it, I think it's because I've always been a bit of a composer at heart. Well, one day I was just messing around on the piano, and then I hit a note. Don't know what it was about that note, and didn't then either, but I just started playing it again and again and again. Eventually, I started messing around with the pedals, and I started messing around with some other notes on my other hand. Eventually, I created a haunting melody, one that didn't leave me alone for a long time. There wasn't really anything I could do. I couldn't compose music. Well, that's what I thought anyway. I eventually downloaded a music composition software called Finale Notepad, and took a long time, and it took a lot of effort, but I was eventually able to transcribe the piece from my mind onto the paper. And I liked the way it sounded, and so I eventually composed more. And I took a long time. A lot of pieces went in between before I finally finished my first piece, and it was called His Symphony. Well, the next thing I did was I made a story for it. The story was of a little kid who died, went to hell, journeyed through hell, literally, and went to heaven, only to be sent back to earth. And with that story, I created a whole symphony around that one piece. There's an old Chinese proverb: every journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. Well, this was the story of my first step. This was the story of my first step into music composition. This was the story of my first step into story design. This was the first step of my story. Thank you, and have a great day.
Okay, we're all still here.